youth work delivery manager here at Reaching High.
So Alicia's part of the senior management team as well that helps us do what we do on the ground. I'm going to take you through, hopefully I'm going to share my screen and see if this works. Let's have a look. Can you guys see this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I hope this presentation will add value to you guys as well. So a little bit about who we are. We're a youth organisation based within Croydon. We do a small amount of work across borough as well, but predominantly our work takes place within the borough of Croydon. Our vision is to see our community work together to best serve young people. That's really what we want to do. And our mission is to challenge young people to be the leaders of their own lives. We do that through a range of things. So we have a school way of working, a community way of working, and a home way of working. So our philosophy and our approach is that we believe that the best way to impact the life of any young person is to have an insight into all three areas. So we do our best as an organization to bring synergy between those three areas with the young person center to that. This is how it was. So this is how it was a long time ago now. So you'll see me on the far left. I had long hair, had a really poor dress sense at the time. Hopefully that's improved a little bit. And then our CEO actually is the only white man in the picture. So his name is Mark. So he's the CEO and the founder. And I guess for context, he's a voluntary CEO. So he actually doesn't get paid by Reaching Out, and he's always been a voluntary CEO, which is it really kind of set the tone of the type of organization that we are. How is it going? This is how it's going. So we're doing really well. We've grown a lot since then. This is actually one of our youth camps where we take between 100 and 200, between 100 and 120 young people away, probably just under 200 in total, for a week away, a week out of London where they can learn about themselves. This is actually a project that we have done in partnership with some churches, which has been amazing. We haven't been able to do it during COVID, but we're looking to bring it back next year, which should be amazing. So things are going well. As an organization, we've over tripled in size over the last 2.5 years, which is in, and we've gone from delivering 6 projects a week to about 27 projects a week across schools and community engagement, which is awesome. The story, it started with Mark and Cherise. Mark had a vision. He was a youth leader in a local church and saw a need in the community really just to set something up. And I like to isolate this because it really just was a vision. It was an idea. And it took a team of people, the group of people that you saw in the previous pictures, to really bring it to life. And a long time ago, we built it on these values. So the first one is trust. In this picture, you see 2 of our volunteers, our long-lasting volunteers, volunteering at one of our community tournaments that we've run over the years. And we give ownership to our volunteers. We wouldn't be where we are without our pool of volunteers. And so we delegate a lot of trust and autonomy amongst our teams. We try our best to be as simple as possible. So what you see in this picture is it's a task that we did whilst we were away, actually, of young people making a tent, building a fire, and finding the most simplistic way to do that. And it was a great task because for these young people, they had to learn, this and, oh, let me Google it. No, you can't Google it. You weren't allowed to Google it. And so simplicity is a big part of what we do, and it helps us to not only simplify our approach, which is obviously the purpose, but it helps us to be more effective within the work that we're doing on a week-to-week basis. We try to operate with a standard of excellence. And I say try because in the youth work sector, it's very fluid. You have to be very agile. So maintaining a high standard of excellence is quite difficult. And we feel that the charity Reaching High does a really good job of that. I mean, we have a gold from London Youth, which is an umbrella organization, and only 25 out of about 500 organizations hold that. So we're incredibly proud of that as an organization. We have to be innovative, so innovation is really key. Obviously, the last year, we've experienced a global pandemic. Very difficult to deliver youth work, coaching and mentoring on the ground when you're not allowed to meet face to face and you have to stay at home. So we've had to come up with a lot of different ideas to see how we can maintain our engagement with young people. Relational. This is one of the foundation elements. We have to care about people. We have to care about young people and their stories. And then we also have to foster a culture where the people coming through also share that same belief, which is super important to us. And above all, we're youth led. We allow young people to really have a main central role in the vision and the opportunities that are for them, that we can create for them. And our young people are amazing, coming from, all different cultures, beliefs, you name it. We support a real wide range of young people in the diverse borough that we have. But the purpose of today really is to talk about mentoring. But in my conversation with John, it was really about talking about coaching and thinking about the terminology that we use. So what might not be familiar with you guys is that the term mentor and mentoring is actually has quite a negative stigma attached to it at a youth level. Typically what happens in schools is that young people who are mentored are typically labeled as bad or unproductive or not fulfilling potential. And so what happens is that young people feel, well, I don't want to mentor because I'm not a bad child, I'm not a bad young person. Whereas as you get older, you realize there's a lot of value in having mentors. And I know I have a few mentors myself, and I mean, without them, I wouldn't have progressed in the way that I have, or have the exposure to life that I have. And we have to find a way to kind of show young people the value of mentoring. And our way of doing that is actually flip a little bit and using the word coaching. The idea of sport as an example is that actually you can have really difficult conversation with your players or your teams, but you're on the same team and you're working towards the same goal. And that seems to be something that young people are picking up on more and more. The idea of, actually I have a coach, and that seems to work quite well. But our why is really simple. So this is the range of mentoring / coaching that we deliver, and the idea around it is around specific or targeted. So to find education, employment, to stop reoffending, and to help integrate back into the community, and to develop career pathways. To change behavior, this is a really important one, to improve relationships with trusted adults, to reduce unwanted behaviors, and to break bad cycles, to break bad patterns or unproductive patterns. To expand and provide opportunities, so to develop personal skills, to build confidence, to improve attainment, and to do that via practical experience, not just by kind of talking to young people, but bringing them on the journey and getting them involved with the doing of our projects. Tailored support. That the blessing with coaching is that you can get really bespoke with it. It enables young people to build trust. It helps young people to learn how to regulate their emotions and to develop that resilience, isolation. And then together, what happens is that we begin to find guided solutions. So not just telling a young person, this is how you do it, but bringing them onto the journey of self-discovery so that they can figure that out for themselves as well. And then ultimately, it's transitioning into independence. It's encouraging young people to be the leaders of their own lives. We're encouraging young people to get more of a handle on their careers, their ambitions, their aspirations, and start to join those dots together. In terms of our steps, there's 4 simple steps. We're talking about building relationships. Most important. Any coaching or mentor relationship is not that practical, it's not that useful when you don't have a good relationship with the other person. And so we're relational first. We demonstrate unconditional regard, and we're really, really mindful of the journey of each young person, because every journey is different. Every young person, they've interpreted life a particular way, and we have to have the patience to understand that. We set objectives. We're super practical, remembering that SMART goals are important. And we start with the end in mind. So we talk about the vision, we talk about the goal, and we say, right, how can we practically work backwards from that? And so we work through those objectives. We're patient, we recognize that good things and progress takes time, but we celebrate the small wins with our young people. And then what happens is that each step, whether it's a baby step or whether it's a leap, young people begin to develop more confidence and to develop more courage and to have raised self-esteem. And you really see the fruitfulness of adopting this type of approach. Probably most important than all, as that process is underway, way, ensuring that there's a really clear exit plan in place, encouraging young people to be leaders of their own lives again, and making sure that the culture that we're setting is not one of dependency. It's making sure that young people can stand on their own 2 feet and equipping them to deal with the challenges and the curveballs that life set, because we all go through it. None of us are an exception to that. But actually, are we equipping young people with the tools to really stand on their own 2 feet and to develop? In terms of how, I guess the value of giving back and to coach in this way is invaluable. We're giving tools to the next generation. We're equipping them. For any of us, any of you that have children, you will know the value of what it means to instill the right principles and the right culture in young people. But we also recognize how challenging it is for them in society to stand by them if they're in crowds that maybe don't apply the same values and don't apply the same principles and don't adopt the same culture. And so create more environments for young people to thrive in that type of climate. It needs to be more contagious, and we need more people to be able to do that. And for us, there's a few ways that we encourage it from a youth work perspective. Voluntary youth work is huge. In action, face-to-face youth work, being able to, being able to recognize where young people are coming from and the challenges that they're actually facing on a day-to-day basis, regardless of how big or how small they are. Practical youth work, it really helped me personally. I was very ambitious as a young person and believe that I still hold that ambition. But actually working alongside other young people that have come from different journeys really gave me an eye-opener, and not just in this country, but also in other countries across the world as well. And I've probably found the most value on those journeys of understanding how different cultures operate and how different lifestyles, how people with different beliefs operate, and the value in actually just beginning to understand their journey. Virtual coaching system, out of this is a really great way, and this is something that we've been rolling out for our organization, is actually working with individuals who are in the corporate sector and in various sectors within corporates, and starting online coaching schemes, that typically last about 6 months, and pairing up people who are keen to support young people with a young person for about 6 months, and they meet approximately once or twice a month. And young people have to apply. Young people apply for this type of program, and those type of young people are maybe a little bit more together. They've got their kind of ducks in a row, if you like. But for some young people, they're not there yet. They're not there yet. They haven't got that discipline yet. They haven't caught that vision yet. They haven't seen it. The penny hasn't dropped. And so another way to do that, and we have a few different people that do this for us as well, is they sponsor a young person. They help pay the way for a young person to receive ongoing support, whether that's via schools, whether that's via community engagement. And what that enables us to do is to give our delivery team more time on the ground with young people that need that extra support to get them into a level where actually they can participate in a coaching scheme, they can participate in a coaching program. And then the last one is just around fundraising challenges. So really helping organizations, and I say organizations because Reaching High is not the only one. There's so many great organizations out there that are doing a really good work that maybe just all other people don't know about. But to help expand that impact and to sustain some of the resources that they've got going, particularly over this period, we've actually challenged some of our partners and other stakeholders to see if they can donate laptops. We've had a lot of young people that haven't had access to the internet, to a laptop where they can, have online video calls or finish their homework and all these type of things. And it's just about being practical to see what we can do. And this is just a few examples of some people that have either kindly donated their time, young people that have received awards, or some of the stuff that we do. But this is on our left, on my left, we've got a volunteer who goes by the name of Sheku, who volunteered with us and still does actually. And he led this discussion with young men on identity and actually what it meant to be a man and what were those characteristics. And just to see young people respond, to people that look like you, that sense of role modeling is so important. In the middle, we have the benefit of a young person who was sponsored and them receiving an award to mark their progress, to really have that recognition. And actually, this particular young person is now going on to study aerospace engineering, which is far beyond my level of, academia, but something that she's taught me a little bit about, and she's incredible, and she's off to uni this year, which is amazing. So it's really changed the impact of her journey. And on the right, we do fundraising. We did. This is a football tournament that we did. We had about just over 600 people there. Different football clubs were there, and this was just one way to do it. Different corporates entered the team and had a kickabout, and everyone had to raise a certain amount of money to enter a team. And what we do with those is that we try to channel some of that income into what we call the big give, which is just another opportunity basically for nations to be doubled. And so we're associated to some of these funders or trusts basically to help maintain the work that we're doing as an organization. And without amazing volunteers, amazing stakeholders, and amazing youth workers, really, we can't do what we do. And what you guys are doing and what John's been telling me about, it's amazing to really hear the heart that is I believe is shared across this room, and it's something that's massive for young people, and young people need it. They really are the next generation, and I'm really a living testimony of that. I was not going down the right path necessarily when I was younger, and it just so happened that the CEO Mark of Reaching Higher, ironically, kind of pulled me under his wing and was just, pouring potential and words of affirmation onto me. And I say I was silly enough to believe it. The penny dropped at some point. I thought, what, maybe this is possible. And the rest is really history. And it's no different for some of these other young people in terms of their own journey. So I'm not going to continue to bore you in terms of anything else. But I wanted to really open it up for questions. So what I didn't want to do is just have, loads of time just talking at you guys, but actually to have a little bit of to and fro so that you guys can ask me any questions, or that we can have maybe a little discussion around the concepts around coaching and the pros and cons associated to it. So yeah, I hope that's okay, John. And I hope that added some value.
Yeah. Yes, thank you very much. I think it's very useful. I think it added a lot of value. That's the truth. We've been thinking of, I think I mentioned when we had a discussion that earlier on this year, we had a webinar targeted at young people. It was getting them career ready. We talked a lot about thinking about their careers and taking necessary actions or taking necessary steps to get themselves career ready. It's never too early to start doing volunteering or some internship role. It builds up into into their CV, into who they become in life. When we did a survey, only 20% of the attendees, young persons, have ever done any form of apprenticeship or any form of work experience. Some of them were in university already, which is not really good. I think I want to hope that that webinar helped. So we were looking at as a follow-up action, and also able to talk to our members when we have further engagements, to start thinking about how we could support some of the young people that might have attended the webinar, and also to hear what you guys are doing, Reaching Higher, youth charity, and possibly how we can even come in any way. I know it's a Croydon, right? What way we can even support. I know you mentioned a few things in terms of apart from being involved, mentoring or coaching. You can also support in one way or the other financially. I like the idea of the laptop and all that. So I think it's a good discussion. So let's open it up for questions anybody have. But I want to kick it off with a question. If we want to start maybe form of mentoring as part of our strategy, or mentoring or coaching, let me use the word coaching now, coaching young people, where is a good place to start? I know we already have a pool of names which came for the webinar. I was thinking, okay, reaching out to those people and maybe telling them, okay, maybe we can support you. Things like, how do we go around that to ensure that it's effective? And do we get the commitment of the young people to say, okay, let them be comfortable with this person to support and building that relationship.
Yeah, no, that's. Are you asking me, John? Sorry, I'm just double checking.
Yeah.
Okay. I think the first thing is understanding the resource that you can offer, whether that be time, whether that be a donation, whether that's a financial one or a practical one like a laptop or something like that. And then once you can identify those, you then know what you can offer, right? Then the challenge is actually, who are we trying to help here? Are we trying to help young people aged 13 to 14, or are we trying to help young people that are 16 plus that are going into study in sixth form, or are we trying to support young people at university age? And then once we can recognize actually who we're trying to help here, then we just have to find out where those young people are, and so we know that if we're looking at 16 plus, we're typically looking at sixth form colleges, universities. It's a great place and say, right, okay, great, we're trying to engage these guys. We're going to approach this school, this college, this sixth form, this university. And alternatively, and this is where Reach and Higher fits in, and different organizations like Reach and Higher, maybe we don't have the time to go out and sort those young people from schools, from colleges, and from universities. And we know that from knowing the resource that we can offer in regards to our time. But actually, if an organization was to help carry that work out for us, we can certainly offer 1 hour a month, 2 hour a month to dedicate to a young person. And that's typically where I would say is the best place to start, is working out what can you offer a young person practically without. It's better to under promise and overachieve than to over promise and underachieve. So it's better to say, you know what, we can't do that part, but actually we can do this. And actually what we'd like with this is, so for example, with Lloyd's Bank, they donated loads of really good computers that were, they weren't laptops, which was more difficult, but we were able to create a smart office where young people could hot desk basically. And we update them, quarterly really, to show them this is what's happening, this is what your investment or your donation is doing. Alternatively, we're in the process of setting up a coaching scheme with NatWest, and that's really just working with their graduates who can dedicate 2 hours a month, and it's really simple. We go on this induction, the young people, they get allocated, we do their matching profiles to make sure that there's some similarities there. And then in a couple of months they go ahead, and then we monitor that, and we stay tuned with that, and we provide the resources that we can to support with the program like that.
Fantastic. Another question, what would you think your charity could need from LikeMinds, or ways we could collaborate in terms of having to support your initiative in helping to coach young people? What ways do you think we could support?
To be honest, it's any of them. I'll see if I can go back to it, but I think this is a really good visual. It's a really good visual, because what we are aware of as an organization is the preciousness of time and how valuable that is to us all. We all have families, we all have lives, we all have different things. And so, like I said, for some people, they've got time. They've got a few hours a week to donate, which is amazing. And for some people, they can't do that, but they want to know that they're making their impact. So if that's the case, there's different ways to do that. So that might be doing something once a year, which is what like our football tournament is kind of like. Or we've had organizations do fundraising just for them within their place of work to do that for us. But typically, I think the group that that I'm speaking to now, and you guys, is there's so much talent, there's so much skill, there's so much experience, there's so much knowledge here. There's so much opportunity in regards to access for young people, whether that's practical work experience opportunities. And it's really about going back to our values, is finding a simple but effective way to start that. And so I would say for an organization like LikeMinds to collaborate with an organization like Reach and Higher, it's basically just saying, well, what makes the easiest sense and what will take the shortest amount of time to get going? Let's start there. And actually, maybe once we start there, we can build on those things, and we can create an even more effective project, as opposed to starting something that's maybe quite complicated, that requires, so much more time a week. And then you realize, oh, actually, maybe I'm in too deep here. Maybe I didn't recognize the amount of work that I've got here. But actually, we can start so much further back. It's just those little things those little steps that can make a significant difference, because then we don't have to none of us need to overpromise to a young person, because once we break that trust with a young person, sometimes there's no coming back. And that's a really sensitive area. And what we have to recognize is that all of us in this call, we're in a position of fortune. We're fortunate to be in the position to actually be able to offer this type of support and help young people. And if we can recognize that, then we'll make a great difference.
Thanks, Jordan. Any questions from LikeMinds in the forum? Another question? Maybe you were very clear, Jordan. You were very much on point.
Yeah, maybe, or maybe I know people are snoring. I'm only joking.
Oh, that's good.
Jordan.
No, it's good to see you guys. And I guess I just wanted to take this time to encourage you guys as well. Guys, there's a lot of young people that need just people who care. Before our professionalism, before our job titles, we're human beings first and foremost. And there are a lot of young people in our communities, wherever we live, they just don't feel that support. They don't feel that love. They don't feel that encouragement. And last week, 2 weeks ago, actually, we had a safeguarding incident within the organization where a young person had planned to take their life and didn't. And we thank God for that. But we were in a position where that young person was able to confide in a member of our team, via a small group mentoring session, a small group coaching session. And through that, we believe that we helped save a life that week, and that young person had been suffering from depression, had been suffering from a lot of anxiety of their career. What could they do? Don't know what they do. Dropped out of college, didn't know what they wanted to do, picked the wrong options. And just to have someone in their corner can talk them through that there are options, that it's not the end of the world, but actually that we can find solutions together, has changed the complete trajectory of this young person. And it's still a journey. They're very much still on that journey. But I guess I just wanted to share that story with you guys, just to encourage you, really, just to say that the role that you play, whether you perceive it to be a small one or a large one, is actually incredibly significant. So I just wanted to thank you already, just to allow us to give us the space and the time to share this, because it really does go a long way.
Yeah, thank you, Jordan, for that. Thank you so much for taking your time to have a session with us. It's something we've been thinking about, and that's why we had the Young People's webinar. We want to give back more. I think we can do better. Though I know in our various maybe churches, maybe we are involved in some form of mentoring or coaching, but we want to do more. And most likely I'll be touching base with you. Also, let us know time to time when you run some of your programs. You have our email address now, our group email address. I could share more in terms of in our forum. We have a WhatsApp forum where we disseminate information, and in subsequent meetings I will be sharing a bit about it and how we can sensitize ourselves a little bit more to start to give back more into young people. When you see young people developing and growing to become a good citizen or achieving its full potential with your support and with your guidance, it brings so much satisfaction that you're making an impact. Even if it's one person, it goes a long, long way. So it's something we want to instill into our members to have that sense of a sense that we want to give back to support young people. It's go a long way. So thanks again, Jordan, and your colleague. I forgot the name again. Sorry,
Alicia.
Alicia, how are you? Want to say one or two things before we go?
I would just say again, just echoing off what Jordan said. I just think any amount of difference can make a difference. And I guess that there's so many people that have big hearts out there. And sometimes, again, it's just knowing how to combine forces to kind of serve the young people. And again, it's not always just young people that potentially have gone off the rails or don't know necessarily they've been involved with certain things. It can also just be young people that just don't feel like they have a purpose. So I feel like the list is quite long. And I think that sometimes there's a notion around bad, and I just want to reiterate that there's so many young people out there that are good staple young people in the community doing big things, but they still need support as much. So sometimes doing coaching can also just be talking, being the ear to a young person, and also providing them maybe with opportunities that you've seen, or gearing down pathways that you've potentially been on before. And again, that's why when we do some of our matching profiles, we link interests, we link their career aspects and aspirations to people that have done that before. So it's a range. So even if you want to spread positivity, it's enough. So that's what I would say, and I hope that's a little nugget for people to take as well. Any difference can make a difference, basically. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes. So you guys, you have our email address, you have my contact. So let's keep in touch, and in any way we could support reaching higher. And yeah, we'll be very glad to support your initiative in any way we can. So thank you so much again for your time. I'm sure we'll connect soon, Jordan.
Yeah, I'm sure, John. Thank you, and good meeting
Thank
you as well,
you.
John.
Hey,
Good
all right,
Have a good
all
day.
right, Jordan. See
Bye.
you.
Yes, you guys. Bye.
Cheers, man. Thanks, Gordon.
Yeah, it's a small world.
Yeah, let me stop the recording.